Hello, dear families. This is my Advent message to you. Um, I know a lot of us are already starting to get ready for Christmas. COVID has just been too long and we're ready to celebrate. I actually set up my creche a little bit early myself. It's not even Thanksgiving, but I didn't put the pieces where they go yet. The sheep are all still off in a field somewhere, and the Magi they haven't even seen the star yet, and Mary and Joseph are doing something else. So I have it set up, but I don't have it set up, okay? Um, but we're all wanting to just jump right into the holidays to celebrate. And I just want to remind you to slow down. Don't forget Advent. So set aside the Christmas presents for now, okay? Let that not be your focus. So, what is Advent? Advent is a time of preparing and waiting. So, our activities for the children during Advent are really going to help them to learn to do both of those, to learn to wait with patience. And what do we do while we're waiting? Now, that was a big question I had some years ago. Waiting for God. What do you do while you're waiting? There's a lot we can do while we're waiting. And we are waiting to celebrate the birthday of Jesus with the coming of Christmas. And in that regard, one of the activities we have for your children is to consider having a birthday party for Jesus. Now, with COVID, I realize that means you're probably not going to have friends over, relatives. If you're comfortable doing that, then go ahead. But if it's limited to just the people in your household, I would still encourage you to have a small birthday party for Jesus. So we have a couple of things. One is we have these Happy Birthday Jesus bags they're in the parish office here, especially for the younger children. You can pick them up, and inside we'll put as many of these as you would like. So, one for each person coming to the party. It's a little felt ornament that you could actually hang on your tree afterwards. And it comes on this nice little card that says a star is born. All right. So just call the office, let us know how many you need to celebrate your party, and we'll get those ready for you. We're working on putting a few other things in the packets for you, but everything will be in one little bag with your name on it, with the number that you tell us that you need for all of your guests. Okay? Um, Another thing that we have for you is an Advent calendar. I highly recommend the Advent calendar. Um, we have a link. All you have to do is print it out. We have some key events going on in the parish listed on that Advent calendar for you, so you don't miss anything. But at the same time, there are a lot of empty spaces. And we'd like for you as a family to work out what is going to help you prepare for the coming of Jesus. So some of those activities are going to be getting ready for Christmas. Okay? Some of that might be preparing the house, preparing the creche, preparing the Advent wreath, starting to get decorations in order, doing the shopping. But make sure that prayer is part of that too. So as a family, you could pray the rosary together. You could pray lots of prayers together, but pray. We can prepare our hearts by spending some quiet time. Sometimes when we pray, we talk too much and we listen too little. So do talk to God in your prayer, but don't forget to be still so that we can hear him speak to us. That's hard. That's hard for adults, and it can be especially hard for children. Generally, quiet time for children, you could figure how old your child is and figure that many minutes. So a 5-year-old might be capable of sitting still for 5 minutes. That might be a long time for a prayer, though, for him or her. But to allow them that quiet time, just encourage them to just be calm, just be with God for a little while. Right? Parents, make sure you take that time for yourselves as well. We can't share what we don't have ourselves, so work on that for yourselves. Another activity we have for our younger children, this would be pre-K to 1. This is an activity that Mrs. Frida Raska has done with her kindergartners for years. And we have these little baggy kits set up for you, so all you have to do is stop by the parish office and pick one up for each child. And in it, you're going to find, Frida has pretty well assembled these for you. It's a toilet paper roll cut in half and glued opposite. So it makes a little cradle for the baby Jesus. And she has prepared these tiny little baby Jesuses for us, wrapped them in swaddling clothes so that you can just lay them in the manger. But the problem is, there is no straw, there is no bedding, nothing to make this a comfortable place for the baby Jesus. So you're also going to find some pre-cut yarn. And what the children are supposed to do is to earn by doing good deeds. And you as a parent, you can determine what those good deeds are going to look like. And for each good deed, they can earn a piece of yarn to put in the manger to make the baby Jesus comfortable. All right? So I encourage you to work on that and encourage your child every day. Ask them, what good deeds have you done today? And maybe remind them of what the good deeds you've seen them do. And then at Christmas time, you can put the baby Jesus in that nice comfy manger. So it's a way to remind our children to be kind, to be helpful, and to think about the baby Jesus all the time. All right? Sometimes we think, Christmas is for the children and the story of the baby Jesus, that's a kid's story. But, Advent is really a whole lot more than preparing for Christmas. Because Jesus promised us that he's coming back. He's going to return for us. And we don't know when that's going to be. It might be another 1,000 years. It might be today. And we need to be ready. So part of Advent is not just getting ready for the coming of Jesus' birthday that we commemorate, but it's getting ready for him to return for us. So if Jesus were to come today, are you ready? Is there anything else that you wish you would have done before he got here? I would really strongly encourage you to think about the sacrament of reconciliation. This isn't just for us to go in there and feel bad about what we've done, although that's a part of it. That's contrition, it's sorrow for our sins. But it's about recognizing God's grace and mercy, that no matter what we've done, there is nothing that God won't forgive. God's mercy is greater than our biggest sin. And when we go to him in the sacrament of reconciliation, we are getting rid of that bag of garbage that we've been carrying around that we just can't seem to put down. We hand it over to Jesus through the priest in the sacrament of reconciliation. And at that point, God forgives us. And we feel God's mercy just rush through us. We share in God's grace every time we participate in one of the sacraments. And God's grace is really a gift of his own life and love that he's sharing with us. So I encourage you, don't let that go. Make it a point to go to reconciliation during this Advent season. And think about maybe going more often than whatever you have been. I know some people come very, very often. So I'm not saying you need to double up. But for those of us maybe who haven't been in months or years, maybe it's time to take another look at that. We always want to be ready. I know myself, I probably could think of a reason to go to reconciliation every day. Maybe a way that I wasn't kind to somebody or didn't give them my full and undivided attention when they asked for it. Lots of ways. So think about where you are in your relationship with God. What does your prayer life look like? Do you participate in Mass? One of the tricky things right now for us during COVID is the bishops have released us from the Mass obligation. So it's not a sin right now to not come to Mass. Normally it is. I don't know if you knew that. Now you do. Still, even though you're not required to come to Mass, I would encourage you, please participate in Mass from home if you're not comfortable coming to church for Mass. In fact, come to church. If you're not comfortable with the crowds, stop in during the day. The church is open until 3 o'clock during the day. You can stop by, you can go in and pray by yourself, but stay close to Jesus. Okay? So let Advent just be a time of celebrating all sorts of things. The Advent calendar, let me get back to that for just a moment. The calendar we have designed for you is a large 11 by 17 piece of paper. So if you don't have the ability to print that out at home, just call the office and we'll print it out for you. We made it big on purpose so that there's room for you to write in activities that you would like to do with your family to prepare for Advent. So the kids can draw pictures in there, they can write things. If you want to just spend a night, go outside in your backyard and look at the stars and sing Silent Night together as a family, or sit down and read the Gospel of Luke, chapter 2. Read the Christmas story. Whatever it is you decide to do, let the kids kind of help come up with some of these ideas too. But make sure that it's fun, that it's spiritual, that it really is preparing us to celebrate the birth of Jesus at Christmas and also to prepare for his return to come back for us. Okay? The Diocese of Cleveland also has an Advent calendar for you, and I have that link in the December lesson plans. And if you click on it, I was a little disappointed myself because I clicked on it and it wouldn't let me see anything because it's not time yet. So it really is going to teach you some patience and waiting. It says, sorry, it's not that day yet. But when you click on the appropriate days, starting this coming Sunday, which is the first official day of Advent, then you'll be able to see some of the activities that the diocese is suggesting you might think about doing during Advent. Okay? So another way of keeping track of what you'd like to do for Advent. For those of you with older kids, they may want to have their own Advent calendar and create their own activities. So coordinate so that you can share some of these activities as a family, but there may be some things that your older kids may want to choose to do on their own to prepare for Advent. So whatever that is, make it prayerful, make it holy, and have a very blessed holiday season. We look forward to seeing you at Mass. We look forward to seeing you in church. We look forward to seeing you online, however we're able to see you. Let's stay a community. Let's stay a family of faith. Let's stay together. One more thing, we do have the grotto dedication coming up on December 8th. Normally, that's a holy day of obligation. The masses for that holy day are 7 p.m. the night before, on December 7th. And on that day, after Mass, we're going to gather around the grotto. We're going to have a tree lighting ceremony and sing Christmas carols and have hot chocolate. So I invite you to join us that evening if you would like. It's usually not a huge group of people, so plenty of room for social distancing, but the community that we can gather together and still celebrate and have fun. And then the next day, on December 8th, is our actual dedication of the grotto. So at this point, the bishop is planning on coming and doing the dedication. We have decided not to do the meal. We were going to have a big dinner to celebrate afterwards. But because of COVID, our numbers are so restricted as far as how many people can come. Lots of folks are concerned about the spread of the disease. And so we've decided to hold off on the dinner. It's not canceled, it's merely postponed so that we can find a better time when more of us can gather together to celebrate this wonderful day. Okay? But we are still having the dedication at 6:30 p.m. on December 8th. And for that dedication, we're inviting the children to come. I have battery-operated candles. They're gold candles. We'll flip the switch on for them. And they're going to bring these candles up and set them around the grotto on the ledge that goes around. Okay, so if your kids are able to come that night, we'll be wearing face masks, we'll be social distancing, but we'd love to see the kids participate in that. So at 6:30, have them here, maybe 10 minutes early so I can tell them what to do and make sure they know where to go. Okay, and if you need anything during this holiday season, Thanksgiving, Advent, Christmas, please be in touch with us. All right. Well, thank you for joining me and have a very holy holiday season.